Omaha, can you help me out? But did he just say, anytime, any place, anywhere, for the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth freaking Rollins? Well, Omaha, it's on tonight. 4 letters, 1 word.
Get ready. Roxanne, get ready. Get ready for the worst raw review on the internet. The worst raw review on the internet. STRAWS raw with Eric B and Randy C. Chickens or bananas and fresh roast beef. This is STRAWS raw.
Hello, friends, listeners, and newcomers. It's me, Eric B. They call me the Raw Dog. And this is the STRAWS Raw Review, the absolute worst Raw review on the internet. And you're listening to us here on the Hub, the Sports Entertainment Network. And I do say us because I am joined by my puppy in crime, my PIC. His name is Randy C. Randy C., we are back. Jack.
Back, Jack. Doctor told me I have a disease where I can't stop telling airport jokes. He said it's terminal. Thank you! Hey, Eric B. Hey, everybody. It's me, Randy C. And as usual, we are powered by something. We're powered by InteriorPlants.ca. The natural solution to a healthier and more beautiful home or business environment. That's InteriorPlants.ca. The king of print, offering and providing the best for your printing needs. Go to www.kingofprint.ca, the official printing company of the Hub's Sports Entertainment. Pure Fandom. Pure Fandom is your one-stop shop for your pro wrestling and lucha libre memorabilia. Located in Toronto. Go to Pure Fandom Shop on Instagram or Pure Fandom Shop 416 on Instagram as well, or join their Facebook page, facebook.com/Pure Fandom. Again, your one-stop shop for your pro wrestling and lucha libre memorabilia. We cannot forget the Smack Daddies. Thank you, Smack Daddies, your weekly WWE SmackDown review. The Smack Daddies join Brad the Dad and Father Greg Feltham as they give you the best in SmackDown reviews. That's the Smack Daddies. As well as the Handshaking Team. Join Eric B. every week, where he will give you prizes, raffles, Wheels of Misfortune, whole bunch of different things, so you can win the best in wrestling memorabilia. You want a Dominic Mysterio Ultimate like he's holding up right now? Well, you're going to have to go to facebook.com/the Handshaking Team in order to find out how you could win it. I was a winner of Wheel of Misfortune one time. Can you? That's facebook.com/the Handshaking Team. And last but not least, of course, Chiquita Bananas. Why, Monroe?
Monkeys never collapse.
No, they never cramp. But we did last week. We're off a week. And I just want to send a big special thank you to everybody for the messages and everything that were sent out. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah, my back still hurts. We did a lot of changes, a lot of news coming up too, coming up in the near future. So, yeah, stay tuned. We'll definitely give a little more teaser of next week. But Eric B., how you doing today, buddy? How you doing, my friend?
I am doing okay. Also, a big thank you to everybody for all of the fine messages. But yes, we are back. We did not get released, folks. Don't worry. The cuts did not make it to me and Randy C. Our contracts are safe and sound for now. But we should also say that we're powered by my missing tooth after I had to get a tooth extracted last week. And I'm just dealing with all the fun that comes along with that, folks. It's fun to talk right now. It is definitely fun to talk right now, but I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be talking about wrestling. And yeah, we missed out on a lot of stuff last week, Randy. We missed out on a lot of stuff, but we're still here as wrestling fans. So obviously, we heard about the releases. Randy, were you surprised by any of the releases in specific? Any of the names that jump off of the page to you?
Two in particular. The uses of, say, unfortunately, I was a big fan of Katana Chance, but Caden Carter, Katana Chance, not surprising. Realistically, I guess being used on house shows and everything, but I guess they certainly haven't been like over as much. But if you're gonna go into the surprises out of that list, I would definitely say maybe Cora Jade and Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. That is a good segue, actually, because we can talk about everything Cora Jade, but she'll be fine, folks. She's still young. Whatever sites are being created, you can read about it on the internets. The internets is there for you. The YouTubes is there for you. By the way, talking about YouTube, just subscribe to us on the YouTubes if you have to do so. We would love if you would do so.
Where's that,
But-
Eric B?
What's that?
Where is that? Where on the YouTubes could they subscribe?
Randy, you do that. You do that. You do that.
That is-
Draw straws raw.
That's right, youtube.com/straws raw. Go like, comment, and subscribe.
Randy is a resident in ad house person, but don't worry, folks. I will be getting much better at that for reasons that are to come. But yeah, releases Braun Strowman, one of the last remaining true monster spectacles of pro wrestling. So it goes to question, Randy. We're talking about the great monsters of all time. Let's talk about Andre the Giant. Let's talk about King Kong Bundy. Let's talk about monsters like that and such as Loch Ness, aka yeah, Loch Ness. Randy, that's your favorite monster of all time, right?
No, it's not. No, it's not. The king of all monsters is King Kong. But no, if we're talking about the wrestling world, the wrestling fandom, like the Haystacks
Calhoun
Like-
himself.
like you said, the Andre the Giant's one of my favorite of all times. The almost like you said before. But yeah, this environment is completely different. Braun Strowman being released, I see reasons why. I know we had a conversation previous to this, but I see reasons why Braun Strowman being released. But as of right now, we don't really see too many big men. We don't see much. There's meat. Like, don't get me wrong. There's like an Otis and a Rusev and Bronson Reed.
Yep.
The rumors of Jeff Cobb coming in.
Yep.
But there's no like monsters. So let's definitely make this clear. So we're talking about monsters, giants,
Monster
Why?
attractions, folks,
Right.
is what I would like to call them.
a big John Stud. Like, you know
Yep.
what I mean? Right. $15,000 slam.
Doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't really exist. So it goes to what you're saying, Randy, is that the prototype monster is shifted somewhat to a more athletic type, because you made the point before we went on the air. Just even watching, say, for example, the speed of a Bronson Reed in comparison to Braun Strowman moving around and doing the same feats of strength that he can do. It's just kind of things have changed a little bit. It's definitely molded. And is there room anymore for the Omos of the world, who is still on contract, apparently? So is there room for those monsters anymore? Do we love the monsters anymore, Randy? I mean, Randy, Andre the Giant, of course, being a staple, but it almost goes to question, could Andre the Giant hang in modern day WWE?
In a slowed down environment or slowed down pace, right? Yes, monsters could exist. WWE is the slowed down environment comparably. But when you have gentlemen, like I think Brock Lesnar was the turn. Brock Lesnar was the guy, the big man. He was the monster that could move, that could wrestle, and everything else like that. And it
Oh yeah.
switched like a hybrid style of a big man. But like a Bronson Reed, in turn, like Braun Strowman was at that time. But Braun, unfortunately, when you have another gentleman or another big man or meat man, I guess the new scenario is meat, a meat man like Braun Breaker, when they're doing the exact same type of signature move of running around the ring like a train. Whoops, I apologize. Running around
That's
the ring.
Randy running around the room like a train.
I tried. It just fell out of my chair. But yeah, running around the ring, and when you see a Braun Strowman versus a Braun Breaker,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem believable anymore, right?
No.
So the big man has agility, has strength, has speed. So that's a big meaty man these days that they're looking for, like a Rusev, like a Braun Breaker, even Randy Orton. I don't care what anybody says. Randy Orton is like a new big man because he's like 290 pounds tall.
It's a
Right?
genetic freak for
Yes.
sure. He is. He just doesn't fall into that category of the 7 foot tall genetic freak, right? So, yeah, we'll see where that goes in wrestling, but it seems like we're completely phasing that out entirely, especially when you go into like the women's division, which has always struggled with size in comparison, of course. But even watching like the match last night with Io and Roxanne, I was like, these women are both very small, but similar size in the ring. So it really doesn't matter anymore. I don't think that we really pay attention to those super tall things. Talking about things that we may not be paying attention to, Randy, sneaking up on us is WrestleMania Backlash, or just Backlash now. For the love of God, I am so happy that they've removed the WrestleMania logo from the Backlash pay-per-view. That was trying for me. That was one of those little things that nitpicked at, right? Randy, are you excited for Backlash here, or are you kind of lackluster? That's maybe a feeling that I'm getting from the internets right now.
Don't get me wrong, just like tonight's WWE Raw, when you saw the card previously, it was a little lackluster, a little non-exciting. Like, you know what I mean?
Missing something, so to
just
speak.
missing. But in turn, seeing Randy Orton in the main event again will definitely be a plus. I am looking forward to seeing Logan Paul, as well as, especially after tonight, we'll get into it, Pat versus Gunther. It just gives me a little more hope, I guess, into watching it. But out of all the pay-per-views this year, I would definitely say this has been the least so far going into it. Excited, not really like planning anything to watch it right away. Maybe watch it a little afterwards. But after tonight's Raw, it definitely changed my mind.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it's kind of like a card that is very similar to what we would see on Saturday night's main event, right? So it's similar to that. Not a lot of time to have build up leading into it. And then also Randy versus John Cena is it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But it goes to question as well, how much are we pushing the nostalgia button recently? Because it seems like almost everybody wants everybody to be grand champions or everybody to break records or something, Randy. It seems to be an ongoing thread.
No, 100%. And it's what everybody does want. Even as the teenagers nowadays in the early 20s, that demographic, they're reflecting to, like, even if you look at TV shows like Stranger Things, like going back to the 80s, Marvel is going back to X-Men, like, you know what I mean?
To the 90s now. It's shifted to the 90s entirely.
Nostalgia is a market, and people always, and I'm one personally for it. I always like to see the glimpse of the past because you can remember these moments. You can remember the thing that made you smile. It doesn't make a difference if it's wrestling, movies, even reading a book. Like, you know what I mean? It's definitely an attraction. So I can see why it's still. I think it'll be popular for a while to come.
Yeah, I think that we just keep on shifting into different realms of nostalgia. I think it's almost comical to see the IWC turned to wanting everything to be that way. Let's push for Sheamus to get the Intercontinental title because he's never won that before, folks. But it's like, but how does he fit into the picture? How? And how do we even know that he existed until we talk about last night's Monday Night Raw? Randy, should we talk about Monday Night Raw or what? Should we give the people what they want, like Cora Jade's about to on June 2nd?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about this week's WWE Raw from the Tri-Health Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Go ahead there, Eric B.
Listen, folks, this is the Simp Podcast, and we are leaning into it as hard as we possibly can because little Liv Morgan is going to be off of our screens for a little while. Randy, oh my, what a big difference watching tonight's Monday Night Raw.
Oh my goodness, Rob Arbic, stop laughing at us right now. I hear you from 12 hours away up north. It is not a good thing. Yes, what are you going to do? What is the world going to do? Right.
Horrible timing. Horrible timing. I say we go away for a week and just all hell breaks loose. That's have it. No more Liv Morgan. I've got a missing tooth. We've got people missing on Monday Night Raw for different reasons, maybe missed flights and things like that. But you know who's not missing in Ohio or wherever they are? Where the hell are they? Nebraska, Omaha, one of the same places. It's very similar.
Omaha. They both start with O.
Omaha, Nebraska, the key to the West, folks. I'm sorry to all of our listeners in Omaha. I apologize beforehand, but let's get into it, all right? Because here is Jey Uso to start off the show yeeting. Randy, 12 full minutes into the show of yeeting before we say one word.
Exactly. We were talking on the phone at 8 o'clock, and we're like, oh, we got to catch up. And I literally turned on the TV. I went to Eric. I said, oh, Paul Heyman and Jey are on the screen, and they literally just started talking.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy, but there was a lot of yeeting going on, and Jey Uso goes ahead and calls out Logan Paul, but here comes Paul Heyman instead on his trip back from the sun. Quoted from Pat McAfee there, but my lord, the spray tan action or how much sun did these guys get over the week? It's crazy. Paul Heyman is just coming out here as Hot Dog Heyman, and Jey is just wondering what's going on. He's like, listen, I'm going to stand up for my family, and he is going to stand up for his family. He's going to stand up for Roman. He told CM Punk not even to trust Paul Heyman. But Paul Heyman has reasons, folks. He has reasons. His best friend put him into a situation where he could not win, where a loss was imminent. Randy, could you imagine if I did that to you?
Yeah, but it's fine. We've gotten over it. No, we haven't. No, I could never imagine that. No. But I liked it. I'm liking it a lot. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. But
yeah. Paul, I mean, usually shows a lot of energy and everything in all of his talks. Everybody is excited when Paul Heyman comes to the ring, but the emotion that he's showing in these promos, just pretty much saying, listen, he's getting screwed by everybody that he trusted, including Roman Reigns. And Roman took off. He was just gone for a while, and he left him to the dogs. He left him to Solo and Jacob. He left him to all of these monsters to deal with. And he let him get powerbombed through a table in his home city of Madison Square Garden. Just crazy stuff. But Paul Heyman is speaking a lot of truths, folks. He is speaking a lot of truths. But it brings to the reason as to why he's there in the ring and why does this involve Jey Uso. And Jey Uso is just absolutely hilarious after the promo was delivered by Paul when he says, "Are you okay?" I just absolutely love the comedy in that. Just a little, are you okay? But yeah, everybody screwed Paul. Paul didn't screw anybody. That's kind of where he's at. But phase one of the plan is what we see going on with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. The dangerous alliance, as people are coining it. Phase two is Seth Rollins needs that world heavyweight title. Randy, the first threat really to the world heavyweight title reign here of Jey Uso. Everybody thought it was going to be Logan Paul at Backlash, but Raw for the first time in a very long time is sneaking in a world heavyweight title fight into the main event. We said something was missing, but it's definitely not when we hear that.
Yeah, throwing us for a loop right there off the start. And, like, yes, placing that in the main event, making me question, is Seth going to win the title tonight in the main event? Is Jay going to retain? What are they going to do? But Paul Heyman's speech in this, and just the way he talked, did raise my eyebrows a little. He was speaking truth. Like, where was everybody? Like, nobody was there. But in turn, was Seth Rollins really there as well? I don't know. I know Braun Breaker wasn't. But in turn, he's called the wise man. And he's called the wise man for a reason. Planting seeds. Yes, main event tonight, Jey Uso versus Seth freaking Rollins.
Tricked him into it. Absolutely tricked him into it. We also see some emotion here from Jey Uso at the end, which is actually brings a little bit of attention to him, makes him look like he's a fighting champion. He's willing to take on anyone at any time, and that includes maybe the greatest person to ever hold that title, the first person to do so, Seth Rollins. We can debate that as much as you want to, but I think that I'm correct in that statement immediately.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll debate it on another show, maybe another time, another segment.
Randy is like Damian Priest is better. Drew McIntyre's, but no, anyways. All right, let's just keep going, folks. Let's keep going. And you know who keeps going no matter what happens, even with a punctured freaking lung?
Energizer
it's
Bunny?
JD.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. Energizer Bunny. And the Energizer Bunny of the WWE, Randy, only he doesn't wear pink, is JD McDonagh. You know what? You could go to say that the ratio of Energizer Bunny head to body is pretty similar. JD McDonagh.
It's actually spot on. Good observation there, Eric B. You're absolutely correct. It is spot on. JD McDonagh, the Energizer Bunny of not just the Judgment Day of the WWE.
All right. Okay. Anyways, JD McDonagh is back, folks. And that's after, like I said, he finished wrestling a match with a punctured lung, terrifying injury. They're putting him over on commentary like crazy because of this. They should have been putting him over before because of just how damn good he is. But he's in a match here tonight against Penta, who has some new retooled music. You like it?
Hey?
Yeah. With the
guitarist.
guitarist from Tool. Oh
Yep.
man. A lot of people will go to say that the lead guitarist of Tool is not as good as the lead bassist of Tool, and that's really what makes them famous. But hey, man, that's pretty damn cool to have some Tool. I ain't no fool for Pentagon's new music.
Yes, the highlight of the night for Penta, for sure. The new music. Go ahead.
Yeah. Listen, the highlight of the night was either that or having Michael Cole call him a future world heavyweight champion. That was something. But anyways, Jay McDonagh is back, Jack, and he's here with Judgment Day. And Finn Balor is wearing a Dominic Mysterio t-shirt as well, which is pretty cool. I got to say, it's pretty cool what they got going on with that storyline. But JD looks great as he always does in the match. Penta is doing his little Razor Ramon walk, but there's some nice high spots in this match as well. That includes a very crazy looking crossbody off of the top rope from Penta that gave me a crazy pop. Absolutely crazy. A lot going on there with Judgment Day and Carlito as well there at the ringside. The bad apple, Randy.
Yes.
The bad apple of the group.
That's it. He is.
Distractions a must in this match. There's distractions as much as you possibly can see. Penta goes back to the top rope, but here comes Chad Gable, folks, and he is a huge fan of El Grande Americano. He is wearing that t-shirt. Also, shout out to El Grande Americano, who won his first singles title in WWE, the Speed Belt, right before Raw.
Congratulations to one of our favorites here at STRAWS Raw, El Grande Americano. And I hopefully they put Chad Gable's El Grande Americano's t-shirt on WWE Shop. The Vote Like Pedro style. I will definitely buy one.
Immediately, we are ready to go, and Rob Arvick wants 5, one for each day of the working day week, right? I think Rob Arvick will tell us yes or no about that.
Please comment below.
But anyways, yeah, distractions are a must. Whatever. JD McDonagh is still doing his thing here in the ring, gets his jawbreaker, but misses his moonsault in fantastic fashion, allowing Penta to run for a destroyer for the win here in this match. Randy, a Canadian / Mexican destroyer and a finish? What is this?
One, it's JD McDonagh, so I guess it can pass. The only thing I feel bad, Penta probably had to wait a long time. There's a lot of promotion going on while Penta was waiting in the ring. But yeah, Eric, I'm gonna have to start it now. Penta is turning into Selena Vega. Every single thing he did, he wanted acknowledgement of it. The only part that there was no slowing down, there was no strut, there is no zero miro, was literally the last sequence of the match. Penta, you look good. Penta, you have a great entrance. Penta, you're over. Penta, stop. Please, stop. Stop. I don't know why anybody likes him other than just seeing his entrance and seeing him. I have no clue. I'm sorry. I'm hopping on this train. I'm not a fan of Penta.
There you go, folks. You heard it here first on STRAWS Raw. Randy C wants Penta to stop with the zero miedo and the little strut for everything. And it makes sense. How the hell can you be a world champion if you're taking all this time off to strut, to do poses, to do everything? And then people will be like, it's pro wrestling. He has to get over with the crowd. Yes, but at a certain point, to have them pushing him as a future world champion, I have to agree with Randy on this one.
Hey, if you pented up and did like hulked up, pented up, and did a zero miro once and then did it, that would be fine. But not after every hip toss, zero miro, zero miro. No, it's bullshit. Sorry, I'm sorry for swearing. It's absolute bullcrap. But
that's still
I'll move on.
All right, so we gotta rein in those swear words as much as we effing can here, Randy. Fudge.
Sure.
We got to be mad like that child was mad when John Cena won at WrestleMania and just say, fudge. This is fudged up, brother. But listen, that match happened. Good to see JD back in action. But Randy's favorite ever, Penta, is going into an IC title match, Intercontinental title versus Dominic Mysterio at Backlash. Just throwing it in there. They're like, why not? We got some time available.
Good. I hope Dominic wins.
Me too, man, because if they move that belt off of him that quickly, I will not be that pleased with that. Anyways, Grayson Wallaby. Grayson Waller is in the back.
Speaking about winners.
And he is pleading his case to Adam Pearce, and he offers Austin Theory instead of himself for this mystery opponent tonight. Random as heck that these guys are on the show tonight, Randy. I start to see it as plantings, as potential things to come, and maybe not even that it's being a plant or anything like that. Maybe it is just one of those curveballs because the smart writers of WWE nowadays know that people are smart marks, so to say, on the internet and talking about how much they like Austin Theory potentially in that spot as a third man in this dangerous alliance.
Yeah, I don't get that, but he is younger. He is an up and comer. It would be good to see him beside Braun Breaker. But yeah, I don't know where this came from or started, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. A lot of people are also saying Ethan Page would be another cool one to put in that position. Young up kind of say. Yeah. Okay. Your Randy is already with that idea. But anyways, let's talk about the now, not the possible, not the future, because Randy, we can either live in the now or live in the future. No, Paul Heyman said it so much better, man. You can die in the now or live in the future. One of the two.
Thank you, Paul Heyman.
All right.
Not so much. No.
No. I definitely didn't deliver that correctly. Got a little bit of a cough today, folks. I do apologize. But anyways, let's keep going. It is Austin Theory versus a mystery opponent. And no, folks, you do not have to adjust your TV again because we had to do it when Paul Heyman came out and we were wondering why he was that dark. The brightness had to go up on the screen. Now we don't have to put the brightness down. It is Sheamus. And the white noise of Sheamus is here in some red gear. And my Lord, is it not his color? He is so pale.
I love me Sheamus. But unfortunately, I do. I love Sheamus. Honestly do. But unfortunately, if the spotlights are dimmer than the man walking out underneath them, there's something wrong. And I'm not exaggerating, folks. Please look it up. Yeah, red is not his color for tights or gear, I don't think. But Sheamus, I love you. Like, I honestly do.
Yeah, we think Sheamus is great. And so does that random other ginger that he runs up to, who is there at ringside during the match. It's friggin' hilarious. He just sees another random guy with red hair and is like, "Hey!" runs and grabs him and hugs him as we go to commercial break. But Sheamus looks decent here in this match too. Definitely got into shape to come back to Monday Night Raw. Red gear, not so much, but he is still there, folks. He is still there. He hits a top rope white noise at one point that looks a little scary, but it's there. It's definitely there. Irish curses, puts in some clover leases. Theory is there too, but whatever. Theory is really just pissed at Grayson Waller the whole time, and there is definitely something going on there because Grayson Waller knew it was going to be Sheamus. He found out it was going to be Sheamus somehow and just threw his tag team partner to the wolves. So that's another reason why I think that there's something to do with the breakup of these two, where maybe like a weakened Theory wants some respect around here. Used to be a champion, used to be a U.S. title holder, used to be like the future of the company as they potentially were routing him to be. And he's really done nothing since then.
100%. With that too, supposedly on TV, Theory and Waller had a little argument afterwards. The commentators did say it, like Cole and Pat, but we were never shown. They said, "We'll show you in a minute," and we were never shown it. So in turn, yes, something going on that we've seen in the last year, I think, between Waller and Mr. Theory. But yeah, unfortunately, we didn't see it tonight. And yeah, Sheamus, welcome back, Sheamus. Change your gears.
We did
Switch to
see
black.
Sheamus.
Switch to black, gray, like green, anything but like red. That was just terrible.
Call up the guy that did Paul Heyman's spray tan and just ask him for like 10%, and you're good.
Imagine him with like a dark spray tan. Who's that?
It'd be the craziest thing ever. It would be like 100%. He would look like the guy from Tekken at that point. He would just be that dark with the same hair and everything, same mustache. But Sheamus picks up a nice clean win here against Austin Theory, who's not that happy with his tag team partner, nor should he be. Anyways, he's back, and that's it. JD McDonagh and the Judgment Day are back in the clubhouse. And I got to say, Randy, these Judgment Day clubhouses are looking less and less Judgment Day clubhouse as every week goes on. This week, it's literally just like a skull on the random volleyball teams of Omaha. By the way, dude, I had to Google this because there was so many times in the show that I was like, who are the Omaha Galaxies or Cyclones or whatever they are? And apparently they are the greatest volleyball team in the Professional Volleyball League, the champions. So good for them. Good for them. But anyways,
your investigating work. Me this week was looking up the oysters. I guess it was a popular logo last week. So that was a good job. Good job, Eric. Thank you for looking.
Anyways, it was just like there's random skulls in the background, and that's it. There's no like. Remember when it used to be all dark and purple lights were at, and maybe some smoke machines and stuff like that? There's really not that much anymore going on.
It must have been Rhea and Damien all the time, right?
Oh, the Terror Twins.
The Terror Twins making
You're right.
Yeah. Now it's all apples.
Dark apples all over the place. But JD McDonagh is not happy with the loss at all. Dominic Mysterio is there, but he doesn't really care. Here comes AJ Styles, who wants a shot at that Intercontinental title as well. Dominic Mysterio thought that being a champion would be hard, but not this hard. So he wants somebody else to take care of his dirty work. Points out that Finn Balor and him have some history. Finn's not exactly too happy about being the go-to, cleanup guy for the crew, but quickly changes his tone. Finn wants that title. And there's going to be something going on with the Judgment Day. Randy, some eagle-eyed fans pointed out that during one of these promos tonight, one of these backstage interviews, we see Roxy Perez talking with Finn Balor in the background. I wonder if they were just doing that by mistake or not.
I highly doubt that. I highly doubt it. Just like before with Liv Morgan and everything.
And JD McDonagh as well in the back.
Yeah, it is definitely a seed. It is a spoiler alert for things to come. Finn Balor being upset. Why? Why is he upset? When he held the titles, it's everybody trying to protect him. Why can't Dom ask for the same? I think Finn's being kind of selfish on that aspect. The other guys just jumped for their brothers. But unfortunately, Finn doesn't feel the same way. With Liv gone, Dom, can you do it without your girl around to help you out? I know Raquel's there, but that's your girlfriend's best friend. And, I don't know about you. My girlfriend's best friends, I never really got along with too well. So,
well, when I am even looking at the Judgment Day and this whole sequence, and I'm seeing Raquel standing there and being almost non-existent in this entire sequence, I'm thinking the same thing. How long does this last? And at what point is Dominic too popular that the Judgment Day doesn't stick with him anymore? What direction are they going to go in? Maybe something with Roxanne Perez and Finn Balor. That's what I'm thinking for sure here. Maybe there's a lot of swerving going on right now, Rand.
What if Dom takes another girl and takes Roxanne Perez for the absence of Liv? That would be great. It's like a bowling alley story, right? Huh?
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
But yes, that would be great. Hey, shout out to Reese, bowling alley.
Yeah, shout out to Reese and the Lane Lovers.
Lane Lovers. That's good.
All
That's
right.
the new
All
team
right.
name, sure.
Okay, there we go. Talking about teams, here is New Day in the back, and they come up to Chad Gable, and they are suggesting maybe a mutual beneficial agreement. Let's also do a quick shout out here for Xavier Woods, looking like a very nice mixture of Razor Ramon and Mr. T during this promo. It's wild. The look is wild, but these New Day heels, I definitely like them, but we need to see some more wrestling, folks. We need more wrestling. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it with this mutually beneficial agreement here with Chad Gable talking about American made versus, the War Raiders, Biker Mice from Mars, whatever we want to call them. They're here still, guys. They're still here, and they're wearing toques inside, which makes them bikers, apparently. All right.
Move on.
You know who else is still here? Becky Lynch, and she's here for a chat, folks. Do people really care about Becky Lynch's heel run, Randy? I feel like it's a little pushed down her throat a little too much. What do you think about this heel Lynch?
Yeah, it happened pretty quick, right? I don't even know why. Like, people are pushing Charlotte to be such a heel. Maybe that's why they wanted to do Becky. Bailey's gone now. It is a little pushed, and just want Becky be the man. You can be a tweener, right? You don't have to be full heel. You don't have to be full face. But yeah, she's trying this heel thing. I don't know if it's going to work too well for her.
I feel like we are being forced into this position quickly, and there's not too much reasoning behind it. The only thing that's behind it right now or being talked about is that she doesn't like that Lyra Valkyria is being pushed more than her, and that she's better than Lyra Valkyria. And here comes Lyra Valkyria. I gotta say, Randy, those sons of a guns at WWE are making the crowd actually care about her, as she is getting some unprompted woos from the crowd. Those owls are out flocking strong, brother. But yeah, they seem to be liking Lyra Valkyria and this little turn of seriousness, letting her talk these last couple of weeks, allowing her to have some character development as well. So her and Becky are going back and forth with each other, throwing some barbs here about accomplishments, lists of accomplishments in the career. Sports Illustrated is brought up as well with their discussion here with Becky Lynch. And Lyra throws out that she is the only first ever women's intercontinental champion. Randy, wow. Anyways.
Yeah, wow, it is. Yes, them people in Nebraska sure like their birds. Becky Lynch being the scarecrow, I guess. But in turn, yeah, Valkyria had a lot of good points though. She is the only one to like. Becky has a losing record against her, right? And Valkyria was the first Intercontinental Woman Champion. So a lot of valid points here. For some reason, I don't know if Becky's going to win against her. I have no clue. So
the only reason why I would think that Becky would win against her is because the last 2 weeks we've had Becky lying in like a heap as a strong Lyra Valkyria walks off. So I would think at some point, if we're going to make this heel turn legitimate, maybe pass it back and forth between the two of them. Give Becky another title. A new title is there for her to add to her list of accomplishments, really, is what I would be thinking. A reason for her return, right? Especially doing the job at WrestleMania, for 100%, example. 100%. That's why I would think they would do that. But yeah, also shout out to Lyra Valkyria for every single time that she was rushing to attack Becky here post promo and her just wardrobe malfunction after wardrobe malfunction after wardrobe. It was crazy, dude. She was literally punching with one hand and holding up the bra with the other one. It was nuts. It was nuts. Nuts.
I have no comment. You know my views on that. Put the professional back into professional wrestling.
All right. Let's get going. Yeah. Let's get going here. Just like they're going forward with this feud. Yeah, talking about professional indeed, actually. Talking about professional indeed, because we go from this whole knuckle duster between these two ladies who are fighting each other. And it was so funny because my friend messaged me at that point being like, I think that they should get Sheamus involved in this title mix up for the IC title so he can get his shot as being the Intercontinental champion and have his Grand Slam. And I was like, yep, Sheamus versus Becky versus Lyra. Let's go. All those accents. Get Drew involved as well. All those accents, man. There we go. Let's get going. I like it. Friend of the show, Drew McIntyre. You know who else is a friend of the show? I think
Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roxanne Perez is here,
yes,
folks. She is shooting like a star onto the Raw roster. I would say that nobody has really shot up onto the Raw roster the way that she has and been taken as seriously as she has. Already here in matches with the world champion Io Sky. Randy, who else has jumped to the main roster is comparable to Roxanne Perez?
In the past?
Yeah.
Paige. That's the only one. That's the only one that... Or AJ. AJ, no, she wasn't even. Paige. Paige is the only one comparable from the jump to the NXT up.
I like it. I love that comparison.
Roxanne, though, is just an absolute different level. Younger than Paige was. I believe more talented than Paige was. Like, she is a special breed. Very, very special. That she is a prodigy. A nickname.
She definitely is. Every single thing that Roxanne Perez has always done has been about being in a championship position, right? World title. If there's anybody who like should really be holding that women's intercontinental title belt to make it serious, it's somebody like Roxanne Perez. So my God, I hope that we move into something like that as soon as possible. And she's definitely entertaining the crowd here in this match. These two women, probably the best wrestling match that we're going to see tonight, honestly. great exchange, everything that's going on here. Um, a lot of the time you see the crowd die down during the women's match. The crowd picked up during this match. It was absolutely great. Two of them look fantastic together here in the ring. Honestly, are almost matched. Talent for talent here in the ring, size for size, strength for strength, definitely. But the match just looks great. Honestly, Io is countering Roxanne's best attempts. There's that airplane spin that she does that leads into that Hurricanrana that Io flips out of, which is just great. Cool little pop. It just looks like we cannot stop Io Sky from what she is going to do, though, right? And that's what happens. Multiple roll ups, roll up, roll up, roll up. Randy's favorite into a reversal roll up for the win for Io Sky.
Amazing. Yes, another has to be on every show now. The roll up, reversal roll up. Let's switch it up just a tad. But in turn, by saying that, I'm not going to poop on this at all. This was a great match. Both of them are stars. Io Sky proving again why she is the champ to everybody each and every week. Roxanne Perez showing up and putting up, right? You know what I mean? Absolutely incredible. We've been really negative, I guess, on the women's division as of late, especially the women's tag. But this was definitely a joy to see. This is probably to me close. This was match of the night.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, it definitely was. As far as wrestling goes, as far as what we saw here in the 10 minutes that they gave these two women to work, it was entertaining from start to finish. It looks at the end almost like Roxanne is going to, do the thing, shake the hand, walk off. And even in my head, I was like, yeah, they're really building her up, So maybe Roxanne is getting a little bit of like an honest push here. But here comes Julia from behind to bash into Io Sky. Randy, do you think that Cora's spot was supposed to be Julia's spot? Sorry. Do you think Julia and Cora kind of were interchangeable once they made the choice that they went in?
I believe so. Julia is a star, and she is very popular as well, though. Cora Jade, unfortunately, made her bed, I guess you can say. You can say. But yes, if anybody were to come up next, it would definitely be Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade together as a tag team, because in NXT, they looked really good.
Like, they even have matching gear.
Good. Yeah.
Matching gear, matching entrance, finishing move. We even see Julia here try to pull out a kind of combo move here with Roxanne Perez, where she's looking to do, I guess, face stomp. And Perez is doing a kick to the face. They got to try it a couple of times because the timing is just a little off. But I didn't think Io was expecting it. I don't think Io was expecting it that way either. So they'll work it out. But the whole time on commentary, they're kind of pushing a lot the whole friendship of NXT between these two women. I feel like, again, they were almost scripted to have Cora in that spot.
Yeah.
And then once things were, decided, this is what happened. And they just went with Julia, who is ultra popular and super talented. I just don't think that she is the best friend of Roxanne Perez.
They have a lot of ladies, I should say, ready in NXT to come up, like Stephanie Vancouver, Julia, Jordan Grace. There is a lot of people ready. Unfortunately, you can't bring everybody up. So Julia, again, I believe would be, even Stephanie Vancouver is definitely one that should be up on the main roster. So this is the transition of Julia and Roxanne, and they made a good choice. Like they made a good choice. So I like this combination. Yeah, maybe it's a little different than Cora Jade, but honestly, with Julia and her experiences and talent, I believe she could even surpass what Cora Jade could possibly have done.
Oh yeah, the NXT roster for women is more loaded than it's ever been. There's no other class that you can look at that is more stacked than what they have right now. When we're talking about how popular Cora Jade was, and they were easily able to let her go. And same with Gigi Dolan too. She was, very popular. She was just on TNA representing NXT too, right? So she's very popular as well. their roster is more stacked than it's ever been. They let go of Jakara Jackson as well. Kept Flash legend. So they have just a crazy roster. Anyways,
It's
moving
probably
on.
the deepest in women's and men's. Like if you
It's
think of men's,
insane.
it's the deepest. It's just absolutely incredible. So
The future is wild. I mean, the men's division of NXT is strong as well. Don't get me wrong, but they've got like three guys where NXT women division has like 15 women that are
That's
going
right.
to be a huge part of the main roster. So the future is very bright, folks, right? We can
Right.
die in the past or we can live in the future. Yes, I said it. I got it right. Okay.
And speaking about the future, I see some meat.
We definitely see some meat in our future, and it's going to get smacked around and stretched, folks. It is Otis, big boy Otis, versus Rusev. Rusev Day seems to be dead, Randy. We are just going straight into this worker shoot style Rusev, and we need him paired with somebody, or do we? Is there somebody who we think that he could be paired up with? Maybe somebody that we see snuck into this whole angle here before we talk about it.
He would have been good with Braun Breaker in them, right? And Seth Rollins. But just keep Rusev quiet and
Yes.
use him as a beast.
Yes.
Or if you want to pair him up with somebody, like I said before, Jeff Cobb's available. And if you have those two, if you want to talk about biker mice from Mars, man, these guys would be the meat munchers from Montreal. I have no clue. But yeah, that'd be a stacked team.
They would be tossing around people like a football in the ring. It'd just be happening. And Rusev just comes into the ring here and he is just throwing around Otis. Like Randy said, as long as you just keep him destroying people and not saying much, would be great. He's kicking fools. Otis is trying his best here. He gets Rusev into toss him over the announcer's table, but Rusev just jumps back up anyways, drops him again with a super kick, sets up the accolade here for the stretch for the win. He really will not let go. After the match, we see Akira Tozawa. After he finally breaks the hold, Akira Tozawa wants to fight. Rusev looks like he's just not going to waste his time. And thank God, man, he turns back into the ring and he just destroys Tozawa with a power bomb, which looks nasty, throws him right onto Otis with said power bomb. It looks stiff as hell. Otis gets back up. He hits him with that goddamn kick, Machka kick into the face. That looks stiff as hell as well. Stretches him out some more. Looks like a monster. And Natty has to come to ringside to console Maxine Dupree. Randy, I am going to shoot. Yeah, I was hoping you were going to get to this as well, but I am going to shoot an angle to you. We have two very shootish fighters on screen in this angle here.
Ooh.
We have Natty and we have Rusev. What if Rusev and Natty started doing the rounds and we saw the Natty that we've been seeing everywhere else show up in WWE?
I hope that doesn't happen. And I'll explain the reason why. That's a good idea, but I hope it doesn't happen. The reason being is that I like the Natalya outside of this, right?
Yeah.
And Natalya inside, the MMA fighter thing hasn't worked. Ronda Rousey didn't work. Shayna Baszler didn't work. Sonya Deville didn't work. Even though we see this popular Natalya outside, I'd rather see it outside, and you could use that. Natalya now is the person to literally put people over, right? And you can't have that scenario or that storyline now at the position or time she's in right now in order for her to make it work. But Eric B, that is a brilliant idea.
I mean, we're seeing John Cena doing the same thing kind of right now. And I'm not saying Natty and John Cena are the same people. Don't get me wrong, folks. But we are seeing John Cena, who hasn't been taken seriously for about 4 years, come in here as world heavyweight champion, universal champion, sorry. And we're not questioning it.
But John Cena isn't hugging Maxine Dupree afterwards. You know
he was pretending to be a good guy.
Okay.
until we saw it all break down. But anyways, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, dude. It's nice to see her do her tour outside and do her rounds outside and almost be free to be this new
Be
character
her.
outside of the
Yeah.
ring.
Be
Yeah,
her. I want her to be
exactly.
her because this is when she's outside of the ring, it's all her. Like it's her idea, her script. Like you know what I mean? Inside, she has to follow a rule. So good
Yeah,
for
it's out of
like,
the WWE law, so to speak,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and that's what I'm happy. I'm happy to see that, right? Because I've been hard on Natalia for the last little bit. So
Yeah, we have been. We definitely have been. We like what we see outside of the E. All right,
Mhm.
guys. Adam Pearce is here, and he is bringing together Pat McAfee and Gunther for a face-off. Randy, the feud that nobody saw coming to Backlash. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Pat doing the work again here, almost like he has in his contract. He's got to wrestle a match every single year. He's got to do what he got to do here, but the fans, they are on Gunther like white on rice about him tapping out, and here come the chants. Gunther is looking disheveled again, man. He had to break down to attack a 60-year-old man because he did not like his comments, and that is why Pat McAfee is going to fight him, and he's going to tell everybody in Omaha about it. Omaha. All right. Yeah, that's where Raw was last night, folks. But Pat McAfee still thinks that being on WWE is one of the greatest thrills in his life, where Gunther has almost become complacent in his eyes. Gunther doesn't have that spark, that joy anymore. This is just a job for him. They do some starings at each other. There's a lot of staring going on in this promo here. Randy, yeah, okay. So we get a match here between Pat McAfee and Gunther. Um, yeah, that match is happening at Backlash. In what reality did you see this coming next for Gunther?
I didn't see it coming at all. But I guess it is happening. Like yes, Pat is there and out there, and I guess whatever agreement they had that they did do it. But yeah, definitely out there losing the belt, going against Pat at this time. I didn't expect. Like the Goldberg situation. They're still saying rumored out there, so I was thinking maybe I'd go with that. But let's go back to Pat in this promo. I will give Pat high kudos. Pat going back to promo 101, address the crowd, the city, the sports team, the area, the place down the street, and then go into your opponent and what you don't like about him. He hit and tell the truth about whatever happened with him last. He hit every mark. Pat is way over with his not just being as a ringside commentator, but as a person, as a podcaster, as a celebrity, as a star. It's almost like a Logan Paul situation. Before there was a Logan Paul, there was a Pat McAfee, and he was doing the same things in NXT and in WWE that Logan Paul is doing today, right? So Pat was probably the best at it, other than Bad Bunny at that time.
Yeah,
So getting Pat in there and fighting Gunther, Gunther's going to destroy him. There's no dude boot it, but yeah, there's no doubt about it that that's going to happen. So, but kudos for Pat for doing what he does, and like it sort of makes you look forward to it. But yeah, who would have thought? Not Gunther, definitely not this weekend.
listen, the part that I was thinking is this promo is going on very long. You know, they got Pat talking for a very long time, but huge kudos to him because right after he does an in-ring promo, he skirts back into his ringside position, puts on the headset, and calls the entire main event. So the guy is no slouch. He goes from wrestling to commentating. Like, what's going to happen at Backlash? Is he going to commentate all his way up to the match? I hope so. God damn it, I hope so.
One of
Right?
the hardest working men in wrestling right now, especially after WrestleMania weekend, man. I don't know if that guy slept. I think he was on a
Oh,
Tony
yeah.
Khan diet over the weekend, but
No, he definitely went to like 4 a.m. every day working and then working at 7 a.m. every day for
it's
that
nuts.
entire week. It was
Nuts.
absolutely nuts. He was on the air the whole time, too. It's not even like the guy's working like a normal job where he doesn't have to be seen by millions of people. But anyways, yeah, we're lucky to have him. As I'm thinking this, and as you're saying, like Pat McAfee is going to get destroyed, I really hope this isn't a way to write him off for a while, and then we don't get our precious Pat McAfee on Monday Night Raw because
What if
it's
Pat wins? What if we're wrong? What if
Oh my
Pat wins?
God.
Oh my goodness. But I guess we'll talk about this next week. So yeah, tune
We'll
into
see.
Straws Raw on youtube.com. That's youtube.com/Straws Raw, and we'll tell you more.
We will see. Randy, we are here at the main event already as the Raw World title. Seth freaking Rollins versus Jey Uso. Even leading up into this match, Paul Heyman is in the back talking to Braun Breaker and being like, do you know what this means for us? You know what this means? Seth Rollins is getting his chance at the heavyweight title, and then what it means for the group, what it means for all of them together. Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker went on the same place for vacation, man. They are
Seeds.
darker than ever. It is just
Seeds.
nuts. Paul. I love Braun Breaker's jacket as well. I feel like he stole that directly from Rick's closet. Rick Steiner is definitely looking for a leather jacket here.
Double Dragon video game 1986. Sorry, I apologize.
Anyways, yeah, the group they've put together so far, it just makes more and more sense because beforehand everybody was like, why does Seth Rollins need Paul Heyman? Because Paul Heyman is the wise man. He doesn't need him to talk for him, but he needs him to convey what he wants. And Paul Heyman has a plan here, folks. And this is phase 1 of the plan. Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins. They're going to get into a match, and we know what's going on here, folks. It is going to be the strength of the group of 3 versus Jey Uso during the whole match. If we want to talk about near falls, if we want to talk about people getting involved in matches being a thing here for Netflix, definitely bringing us up to our highest points and also throwing into us curveballs, because even the smartest marks can always say they know what a finish is going to be the finish of the match is going to be. When we see the spot happen, we're like, okay, it's done. Right, Randy? Like 90% of the time when you say that, or 99% of the time when you're like, it's done.
And the time on the clock. But unfortunately, now with Netflix, we can't do that. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, the time on the clock used to be the caller, but Netflix is doing well here. They give us a 2.5-hour long Raw, and that was pretty damn good with what they had going on. But yeah, Rollins, some statements are definitely being made here in this match, Randy. And before we talk about all of the inclusion of everybody else, the statement that I feel is being made here is almost like Seth Rollins isn't good enough to beat Jey Uso on his own. What position does that put Seth Rollins in going forward?
Yeah, whoa, you threw a curve at me right now. Hey, we never talked about this prior to the show. Yeah, putting this, so again, the card before Raw started tonight really looked unappealing.
Blase.
Yeah, but now putting Seth and Jey in it made it a lot more appealing and something to look forward to. Getting it, I did not know. Outcome, I wouldn't know either. But in turn, you're right. Where does this put Seth? Like, Seth needs people in order to win, or whatever it may be. I never thought, especially against Jey Uso, because there's a lot of hate. Like all the regular fans are happy that Jey Uso won the belt, but in turn, all the smarks are unhappy that Jey Uso won the belt, right? And if they're putting Seth on a higher regard than Jey, what does that mean? So good point. You're right. I think it does hinder a little if he needs people. But I honestly believe there's more to this. Like, I honestly believe that Heyman and Braun have another plan. Just like you said, they're going on the same vacations. Everything else, the wise man's being wise. So Seth thinking he's the smartest guy in the world right now. But remember, he's never called himself the wise man. He used to call himself freaking.
Listen, Paul Heyman has been on social media a lot recently with a very pretty young lady with the beach in the background. Maybe Braun was there on that vacation as well. Maybe he was there. He was just trying to show him the finer things in life. The
You know who
finer things in life.
you know who I can tell you that wasn't there?
Who?
Corey Jade. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's keep going on, folks. But yeah, like we said, there's a lot of seeds being planted going forward, and a lot of questions need to ask about this group and the strength of them as a core as well. Anyways, in the match itself, lots of high spots going on, lots of involvement here. Braun Baker's getting involved, Paul Heyman getting involved, distracting the referee. Braun throwing his spears around like grenades the whole time. Sammy is going to show up at one point here with some taped up ribs after the attack last week. I almost feel like Sammy should have been ridden off for a couple of weeks after that attack,
100%.
just to make Braun Breaker look like a complete maniac. But he is going to show up here, eventually get taken out as well by the dog of the group. Beware of the dog and a Steiner math, because he is coming at you 33% more than me and Randy can come at you at any time. He's a genetic freak.
There's some more. 333% more. Times 2 at 27.
Yeah. But he is coming as fast as he possibly can. And there's so many distractions in this match where Jey Uso just seems like he can't beat Seth Rollins because there's just so many distractions in his way. And then vice versa. Every time the distraction happens, Seth Rollins hits one of his finishers, stomp, pedigree, and Jey Uso kicks out. And the thing that's even crazier is Gunther had his title reign, his historic Intercontinental title reign, everything. What finishes Gunther is a sleeper hold. But then Jey hits a super kick, a spear, and a superfly splash. And that is the 99% comment that I was making, folks, where 99% of us in the entire world watching that match, that was the end. It had to be the end. 3 finishers hit on the guy? No, Seth Rollins kicks out, and the fans start chanting, "This is awesome." And I'm like, I'm surprised by what just happened, but I don't know if it's awesome for the storyline that now you're telling me like Seth Rollins should have had that belt the whole time because he's stronger than Gunther. Gunther can't take the damage that Seth Rollins can take, right? Like that's the way I looked at it. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I agree. You're right. Like, I'm totally with you on it. Unfortunately, the fan base, and I'm not saying everybody's opinion is their own opinion. So if they cheer for it, they like it, that's up to them. I'm not gonna tone down or put down the opinion somebody has. But in turn, it seems like the crowds nowadays are like a spot monkey, spot finisher, multiple finisher type of crowd. They just like to see the same thing over and over again.
In the main event,
always,
and we talk about nostalgia coming back. We talk about the 90s, and we talk about this dangerous alliance being that NWO-esque group that we thought was coming, that nobody saw coming. We thought that was going to be it. And there was one point of the match where it is teased by Michael Cole. What if the ref is in, what if Paul Heyman is in the pocket of the referee? And I thought to myself, what if they go in that angle? Like, we haven't done that in wrestling in a long time. Are they going to lean heavy into this whole new NWO thing? A group that comes in and has control of everything. And it just needs a belt to really solidify that control. The internet wrestling community is definitely down on Jey Uso, where if you were there in person, you are up on it. Like, everybody wants a 12-minute yeeting session. Nobody says they don't like it, but the internet wrestling community definitely wants that belt to change quickly. Anyways, Sammy comes, he gets taken out. At that point, you're like, who is going to save the day? Here comes CM Punk with a chair. He lightly throws it to Braun Breaker and then runs up and kind of taps his face, and Braun Breaker is dead. Grabs that chair, runs into the ring, clears everything out. Multiple shots to Seth, multiple shots to Braun, who tries to run in. And that's the end of the show. That's the end of the show, man. We got Jay, Sammy, and Punk standing in the ring. And that is the last thing that we see. We don't hear the announcer say, and your winner by disqualification is Seth Rollins. And I don't know why we didn't do that. Like, it's crazy that that announcement wasn't made. And it was also crazy that you waited until post show to have Logan Paul come and attack Jey Uso. Like, I feel like that had to be a mistake, man. I understand that they're like, this is going to get out there on the internet. But if you're going to have Logan Paul in Omaha, Nebraska, you're not going to have him on the show, on the stream? That was a little crazy, Randy.
No, I agree. I agree with you not knowing this as well. Sort of sets up Backlash, or give me sort of a prediction for what's going to happen with Backlash, because if people are interfering on Jay and Seth's match, I think there'll be a little Seth or Braun intervention too on Jay. Now, does it validate Jay as a champion? No. Not for your first title offense would I have any interference. But in turn, not on the first title offense would I put him against Seth Rollins. The match was good up until the ending. Like you said, I don't agree with all the run-ins or the finishers. But again, in turn, I don't agree with this match being put out there in the first place, especially before the Logan Paul. Logan Paul is the perfect person to put against Jey Uso first to justify him winning the belt, not Seth freaking Rollins. But again, I agree with you. It didn't make sense. Finishers aplenty. Yes, there was a cool little Jay wanting to give a spear to a pedigree. That looked kind of cool.
We saw that at WrestleMania.
True.
And it was better, right?
Oh, I like this one.
Okay. Well,
I like this one.
He had more. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's your opinion too, right? So if you think that, but
I think a spear from Roman Reigns is 10 times more impactful than a spear from Jey Uso.
And a spear from Braun Breaker is 10 more
times impactful than Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen when it's ever going to be Jey versus Braun, because if he tries to do the spear, it's like, well, I'm not going there. But yeah, it's going to be weird.
So now we have this. So sorry to cut you off, but now we have this, right? We have Jey Uso, we have Sammy, and we have CM Punk. And then we obviously have the other three, but Paul Heyman's not going to wrestle. So there has to be a third man will be added at one point. And that's why I feel like they're almost putting Austin Theory there as a plan for us to start smarking out about it, for us to be thinking, what's going on in the background? Who's it going to be? But probably like before, it's going to be something nobody sees coming. Just like Trick? This whole thing. Yeah, exactly.
What about Trick Williams? I put Trick Williams there.
Me too.
What about you're Austin Theory.
You nailed it, dude. You nailed it, honestly. Trick, Austin Theory. But Trick Williams would be better. He definitely needs that push. But Austin Theory is so well liked by everybody in the background that they probably want to give him that one more try. And I don't know. Trick Williams definitely deserves it as well. Anyways, Randy, that was the main event of the evening. Like we said, everything on paper, we were like, there's not that many matches, and then things picked up afterwards. What were your thoughts here on Monday Night Raw, brother?
Well, I'm going to give it, because I gave my thoughts after every match, so I'm just going to give it a banana review this week. So at the beginning of the night, I didn't know if this was going to make it past the 1 banana mark. But because of the main event, a weird episode. It seemed a lot different than even the previous week's episodes, with how they filmed stuff, how the promotions were going on, how the advertisement, the ring was super full of advertisement this week. But even to the promotions, how they were doing the like ad breaks with the wrestling, what they were offering, it looked like a different production by about 10 to 15%. So that by saying it should have been a 1 and 1.5 at the beginning of the night, just looking at it on paper. But I will definitely give it wasn't the worst Raw of the year. But I will definitely give it 3.5 bananas, which is a positive rating for it. It's definitely watch television. The only thing I would have minus was probably the Penta match and the Zero Muros to give an extra 14 minutes so we could have seen Seth and Jay do 19 more finishers. But that's my opinion. It's only me.
So it was finisher mania, folks. It was finisher reversal mania, but there was no stolen finishers. So that didn't happen tonight. So they gave us a little curveball. As much as we joke about it, we still like watching ourselves some Monday Night Raw just as much as we enjoy having you guys here to listen to us every single week as me and Randy riff about our favorite weekly show. So if you wanted to listen to more of us, if you wanted to see more of us, if you wanted to say even send Randy a message for some listener mail, which we haven't done in a little while. I think we got to do that next week. Yeah, Randy, how, we got to. It's building up. It's piling up in the back room. And we don't know who Pepe Sanchez is at this point, but we are looking for him. Randy, how do people message you if they need to?
Well, you can find us on the YouTubes. That's youtube.com/GrawStrawRaw. New social alerts. Twitter. You can find all the shows on Twitter and Instagram at The Hub Sports Entertainment. Just Google it. Because guess what? It goes absolutely to the same place. We can definitely listen to our feeds. That's The Hub Sports Entertainment Network. Also, spoiler alert. SNME Radio is back Jack at the end of the month on May 28th. News to follow next week. But it's going to be broadened out. It's going to be heard by more people. It's going to be bigger. And it's going to be better than ever. Again, announcement to follow next week.
Sunday night's main event is bigger, badder, and back, Jack.
It's good.
All right. Yeah, you like it?
I like it.
Yeah, you can always, So anyways, folks, go into the Facebook group. You can follow us on the YouTubes. That is STRAWS Raw. Subscribe. We are going up and up and up on our subscribers. We got to do a giveaway soon, folks. It's going to happen. Don't you worry. So, until the next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and continue to live your lives impactfully.
Live, we miss you. Laugh with everything. And love wrestling.
Monkeys never collapse.
Shit.
Deuces! Ooses! Thank you!
I'm Chiquita Banana, and I've come to say bananas have to ripen in a certain way, and when they're flecked with brown and have a golden hue, bananas taste the best and are the best for you. You can put them in a salad. Green? No, not yet, my dear. That greenish way you're looking means that you are ripe for cooking. How about me? No, no. When you are fully ripe, my dear, those little flecks of brown appear.
Me?
You're most digestible, my friend. Delicious, too, from end to end. You can put them in a pie, any way you want to eat them. It's impossible to beat them. But bananas like the climate of the very, very tropical equator. So you should never put bananas in the refrigerator. Bananas are a solid food that doctors now include in baby's diet. And since they are so good for baby, I think we all should try it. Oh! See.